do you have any questions, Hilary, about sort of, well, we've been discussing the behaviour or anything specific, or for the other sessions you were saying, not just after school? Not you, sorry, Julie.
Do I have any question? Probably. Let me think that through for a minute. So yeah, if you've got a loud group, and they're all talking. I mean, they're talking about the yoga or their positions, particularly with the older children, I find, with the kind of 7s and overs, or maybe 6 and 7. They're all talking and they want to show to their friends what they're doing and talking about the yoga poses. But then they're loud, and I'm trying to bring them back in, get their attention again. And I've got a singing bowl, which I try to use rather than shouting, but then that's not loud enough sometimes, especially if you've got a group of, say, 20 or 30 class, and you want to get their attention back. Without shouting how to shut up, or can you listen?
Sure. So I think one thing you can do, I use clapping quite a lot, call and response clapping. So, and again, you've got to set it up before you then need it to make them quiet. So you need to already have it there. So we could even try it now. So I'm going to clap 4 times, and then you clap 4 times. So. There might be a bit of a delay on this. I'm not sure if it will work. We'll try it. So then,
it might just be us out of time.
So it's going to go clap, me, clap, 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 like that, yeah? Ready, and me. We maybe this doesn't really work with the delay. But basically, first you set up the call and response and make it really, the first one needs to be super simple. So just, I do 4, you do 4. So it goes tack, 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 then tack, 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 tack. Then I go tack, 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 da 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 da. Then do 2 fingers. And then after they've done their clapping, then there'll be a little pause of silence, and then you say, "Thank you, dear children." And now the next thing we're going to do, and then off you go. So like the clap is a much easier way of cutting through the noise than your voice or a singing bowl. And what will happen is, like, if you set it up, so you need to set it up at the beginning, and then so you might set it up at the beginning, and then you might do a little bit, and then do it again, and so you'll just clap 4 times, and then about 30% of them will go, "Oh yeah, that thing again," and they'll do it again, and then you set it up again, and so then once you've got it as a little habit, then if you just clap 4 times, then a good proportion of them will do it, not all of them, but enough of them that then you just carry on doing it, and eventually they start to pick up on what's happening, and they all start joining in, and then and then you've got that silence, because then they're watching you to see what you're going to do next, and then you go wonderful, now we're gonna, and then you just go off with what you want to say.
Okay, you just reminded me of another thing I use of yours is that macaroni cheese, everybody.
Macaroni cheese, everybody freeze, yeah.
Oh, that's quality in an after school club, that's
yeah.
Well, maybe if we go, Kevin, so we've got Rhiannon. Hi, Rhiannon. You have to unmute yourself, I think. But, yes, what were we talking about, Kevin? Because there was something, Rhiannon would have missed that. We were saying
macaroni cheese.
Macaroni cheese, yes, maybe
macaroni cheese, everybody freeze. So we were talking about ways to, so we've got a noisy group who are quite reasonably noisy because they're highly engaged in the activities and doing kind of what we want them to do, really, but they're excited. But now we need to get their attention back. And so we were just discussing ways to do that, and we want to try not to use, our voice gets sore. You can't, it's just, if you have to shout over 20 kids making a noise, it's going to be difficult. And so we were talking about using call and response clapping, which is kind of like classic teacher sort of trick. And then, so we're saying we need to just set that up to begin with. So you set up the idea that when I clap, then you copy me. and you can extend it for like in so many different ways, with stamping and slapping your thighs, all different ways. And then it just sets up a habit. So the children I teach, I've just got a little clap which I go, and then they always do that. And on some days I have to do it 3 or 4 times to get them all, but certainly for a certain age, when they're younger, it just gets their attention. And then we were also mentioning a call and response. You can have, like, when I say macaroni cheese, you say everybody freeze. Macaroni cheese, everybody freeze. And they think it's funny because it's got the word macaroni cheese in it, and everyone freezes in a silly way. And then and those little things, they kind of work for a bit, and then they might not work again. And then you just have to think of a new one. But then if you say a new one, it'll catch their attention again. So 1, 2, 3, listen to me. 1, 2, we're listening to you. There's another one. It doesn't really, there can be lots of different ones. But and you can just make them up or whatever, and silly words and stuff tend to get on well. And then another one it might be is one which I think I did with you guys in the conference, was if you've got a verse that's in everyone knows, like, you just start singing it in your quiet voice, because you don't need to cut across the whole group yet. You just go, down by the banks of the hanky panky, and you just start singing it, and the people around you, there'll always be some keen kids who want to please the teacher, certainly at the ages you're working at. So you just start singing it in your normal voice. They start joining in because they're like, oh, that's what's happening here. And then it slowly spreads through the group. So rather than trying to cut over the whole group at once, you just quite happily know you're going to sing that verse 3 or 4 times, and you don't need to rush. You don't need to be, you just do it, and then slowly people come and carry on do it, and then you stop them at once, and then you say your next thing.
Excellent.